How's it going, guys? This is Soul Cinched here. And real quick, I just want to apologize for not doing a reaction to the second half of the Double XL Freshman freestyles. Between my work schedule and stuff going on in my personal life, I wasn't able to get around to doing a actual reaction to it. But I'm here to go ahead and give my rankings of the 12 freestyles we got. So I've heard all the freestyles, I've listened to them multiple times, and I will be judging this based on some technicalities, like how good their flow was, their delivery, their energy, their lyrics, rhyme scheme, all that. And also personal enjoyment plays a lot in this too. Now, first of all, I want to say this year we didn't get any downright terrible freestyles. Like, I don't think there are any of these freestyles that would qualify as top 10 worst double.
That's the piece costs a half $100. Actually, if I feel that it's a soft press, then it's a casually. If I'm speaking factually, you know I text niggas, it ain't no texting me. I had to tell her.
Alright, so in the number 12 spot, we have Babyface Ray. Now let's just get the obvious out of the way first. My main issue is the weird pauses he takes in the middle of his verse. I'm not sure if he had the hiccups or he was trying to censor himself or if he was burping or what. But he took a lot of very strange pauses which really disrupted the flow of his freestyle. And speaking of which, his flow was very, very basic. Wasn't really coming with a lot of energy. Very lazy delivery. Just not really a whole lot, which I didn't expect much from him because that's kind of the way he raps in his music, which is one of the reasons why I don't really get the appeal of his music all that much. But yeah, just really, really boring in my opinion.
All my sex workers and my stripper peers. Don't you season, ho? Don't you see? Top of the food chain and you open season. Bitches already dead. The strip club is...
So in 11th place, we have Doechii. Now, there are a few things I liked about her freestyle. I can appreciate her flow switches and how fluid they were. In the past, we've seen freshmen who have switched their flow and they have to pause for a few seconds before they go into their flow switch or before they switch their flow. Doechii was able to transition between different flows relatively smoothly. However, she wasn't the most original. Some parts of her freestyle sounded like Nicki Minaj. Other parts kind of reminded me of Iggy Azalea a little bit, especially the beginning when she's putting a lot of emphasis on the ear sound. Like, all my stripper peers, boosting out the year, bring that liquor here. And yeah, I just found all that a bit of a drawback. And that midsection where she was doing that very unorthodox delivery. Don't you season, ho? Don't you see it? Top of the food chain and these bitches are sleeping. That whole spell casting segment I found to be very, very off-putting, and it kind of ruins it. But she does pick her flow up some toward the end, but unfortunately it's not enough to rope me back in and get past that really weird midsection.
Gotta gain weight, but you can see I'm getting bigger. I ain't picking up no trash, but you can see we getting little. I need a hat that's A-rated. I ain't rushed, I waited. I blew up, they hate it. Play with me or life, I take it. I need a hat that's A-rated, cause I'm underrated.
This wasn't a bad freestyle. It was just somewhat lackluster to me. I was kind of hoping that Nardo Wick would come with some more energy and have a more threatening kind of vibe with his freestyle, kind of similar to the vibe he gives off in his music. I was hoping it would be similar to what Comethazine did back in 2019. And his lyrics were also kind of lackluster. Some of his bars were pretty hard, but he also had quite a few lame or corny bars in his freestyle. So overall, it wasn't bad, but it was fairly lackluster.
I just got a lot on my mind, I've been thinking. I just pray a nigga don't drown in the deep end. And I say drowning in the deep end, cause I know a lot of niggas drowning and sinking.
I don't think Sofago is a bad artist. I also didn't really have high hopes for his freestyle and cypher because I feel like he just has a style of music that doesn't really bode well for an a cappella performance. You know, he uses a heavily auto-tune style, relies a lot on production and whatnot. Similar to Yeet. That's why I feel like Yeet would not have had a good performance on Double XL. But my main issues with Sofago's freestyle is it would appear that he was actually freestyling off the top of his head, which can be a double-edged sword. If it turns out good, it's just more impressive since you're not using a written verse. However, if it's bad, well, it just proves that you should have written a verse. His flow was okay. It was really disrupted by his constant.
No, they ain't stopping my legacy. Nigga throw shots and they think I ain't catching it. Rich young nigga got the hook on my section leg. Walking to my like on pistol shop if trying to invest some property. Like gang.
And in 8th place, we have Big Scar. Now, I've said before that I'm not the biggest fan of Memphis rap, but Big 30 has grown on me some. We'll get to him in a little bit. But for this verse, Big Scar, not too bad. Had a pretty fast-paced, slick flow. It was also really, really short, which is good and bad, because if it were going for too long, it would become uninteresting. But if it's too short, you kind of want more. And I feel like his freestyle could have gone on another 15, 20 seconds, and it would have been much higher on the list. But as it stands, I think it's just a bit too short, but definitely not bad. Just short, sweet, and simple.
Fuck these bitches, I'm a lesbian. I'm not a new rap bitch. I'm something like a veteran. How could bitches ever do a top 10? And I'm not in the top 10. I can't name a bitch off the top that I'll rap can. I've been doing.
Next up, we have Kin the Man. Her freestyle wasn't bad. Pretty typical hot girl type stuff. She had some okay bars. That one part where she talks about how she doesn't know a single rapper that can out-rap her. That's, I don't know about that. I mean, I get it, you know, you're supposed to have this feeling that you're better than everyone, but still. That's, no, just no. I mean, you're okay, but no. Yeah, this one's middle of the road just because it's fine. It's not bad, but it's nothing special, I guess.
Don't bring your hoe around me, cause I might slide in your bitch. Shit, if she lucky, he wanna fuck too, so she better not trust me. 500K and stuffed in the Duffy. It's been 5 days and he's saying he love me. That nigga ain't fuck.
Next up, we have Callie, who did fine. Again, just pretty average, not great, not terrible. She did come with some nice energy that I really appreciate. But outside of that, nothing super noteworthy, in my opinion.
Bitches, nigga know what's up with me. I never took my tail. Every day I'm steady sinning like we already in hell. Running up on Big 30, gonna be an epic fail. Got the AR with the.
I like to think of this freestyle as the alternate universe where Pooh Shiesty actually had a good freestyle. Now, Big 30 stylistically is very similar to Pooh Shiesty. They're both from Memphis and they both do that Memphis style gang rap. And they both have that very unique Memphis accent. And for the longest time, I just found this style of rap really unappealing for me personally. Same with New York drill. But Big 30 is probably one of my favorites out of this area of hip-hop. And some of his music has actually grown on me quite a bit. And he came with your typical lyrics you'd expect from him. Some decent bars, pretty good flow, and nice energy. Which Pooh Shiesty was completely lacking in energy and didn't really have a flow at all. So yeah, this is basically Pooh Shiesty's freestyle, but actually good.
I changed the game, I'm on the rise. They try to go against me, but they know I'm the vibe. Daddy up the road, see I'm when I'm 35. Mama taught me how to hustle, but had to fight to survive. Speaking of 35, that nigga bought me the plug. How the gay boy on the block selling a purse full of drugs?
Now, one freshman that surprised quite a few people was Saucy Santana. Now, I wasn't too surprised at how good his freestyle was, because even though his music is not for me, you can't deny that the man can rap. You know, like, he be spitting in some of his songs. You know, even though his music I don't really find enjoyable, you have to admit the man can rap. And he has some pretty cold lines, too. Like that one line where he talking about how the gay boy on the block selling a purse full of drugs. That shit was just cold. I mean, he's giving off streets energy as well as yes, queen energy, and it's just the most confusing mixture I have ever heard in my life. The only part that I downright didn't like was that yippee-yi-yo, yippee-yi-yi-yay. I'm a static controller from y'all because I am not here to play. That's the only part I downright disliked. But overall, not a bad freestyle.
Unky lit a dog life, he might get a Vic. Little bitch a porn star, get the dick a kiss. When I spot up, the range is limitless. If the convo ain't about no paper, I'ma finish it. Punched everything I'm wearing, bitch, I'm freestyling.
Babytron really surprised me here. Now, I said in my last video when I was going over my thoughts on each of the XXL freshmen, I mentioned that I wasn't super crazy about Babytron. I only heard a few of his songs. I just didn't really find them all that interesting. I just found his voice to be kind of generic, and I didn't really find his flow to be all that appealing to me. But I'll have to go back and listen because he had some bars in this freestyle. Okay? Like, something I would never even think of. Like, my uncle got a Vic. Like, there's one bar where he was saying, my uncle live a dog life, he might get a Vic. Vic as in evicted, and Vic as in Michael Vick, who made dogs fight. It's a lot of really, really clever bars. And a pretty tight flow, too, compared to what I've heard in some of his original music. Like I said, I've only heard a few of his actual songs. But, yeah, that's, this is a pretty top-notch freestyle.
Man, this shit done took some years. If it took one night, then the shit feel wrong. Copyright my thoughts is thousands, ends, billions of what I'm thinking. Long as I'm the captain, I can't make no moves that have us sinking. Mama, yes, me up on them screens, you not dreaming. Mama, yes, me up on them screens, you not dreaming.
And in number 2, we have Casey. Now, Casey is the first freshman in XXL history to bring an entire choir to have some backing vocals for his freestyle, which I've seen some people complain about, which it doesn't really bother me too much. There are some people complaining about how it's supposed to be a acapella freestyle, he shouldn't have a choir with him or whatever. And then, of course, there's people that complain about it being pre-written, which is just dumb. But I don't really mind it. The choir, it was a nice touch. Casey harmonized with them very, very well. His melodies harmonized very well. He had a nice melodic flow. And he was saying some pretty good lines. I especially like the one where he says, I feel like a vet that just got on. That in itself is a pretty basic line. We'll see a lot of freshmen say like, oh, I've been doing this for years. I ain't no freshman. But the way he tied it into the next line, where he was saying how it would feel wrong, like if I forget exactly how the line went, even though I just watched it. It's like, I feel like a vet that just got on. If I did this overnight, then that shit would feel wrong. Basically saying that if he blew up overnight, then it wouldn't feel the same as putting in years of hard work. Like, the payoff is better, and it feels better when you're grinding for years and years and then finally blow up, rather than just blowing up overnight. So that was a pretty nice bar, pretty nice touch there. But yeah, overall pretty good freestyle. Really, really dig this one. And another thing I want to mention, some people were complaining about how his choir kind of like made a beat for him. And that's not the first time that that's been done. I remember back in 2019, Roddy Ricch kind of made a beat out of snapping his finger and shaking his jewelry, and people loved it then, which, I mean, it's kind of hard to compare that to an entire choir, but still. Yeah, I don't really mind the choir thing, and I think he used it well, and I think Casey did well. I think it's a good freestyle.
Keep God on my mind. You would think I'm Fred Hammond. Heard you niggas getting hungry. That's the point of being famine. Stop it. I'm taking notes just like a Houston Rocket. She say my gap look big. I told her you should see the pockets. She like, boy, you need to watch it. What's the point of taking pictures if you barely even crop it?
And the number one freestyle this year goes to Cochise. Cochise went off on this. Now, I was a bit worried at first because Cochise, I feel like, based on his normal style of rapping and his music, I feel like it wasn't really going to mesh well to an acapella freestyle. I felt like we were going to get something similar to what Lil Key did in 2020 or what Lil Mosey did in 2021. Because I was scared he's either going to try and do his freestyle in his normal rapping style and it'd be terrible, or him try to rap normally and it'd be Lil Mosey. But nah, he went off. He definitely rapped in his normal voice. He was not trying to do the baby voice or the ad-libs or anything. And he was just going off. And he had some bars. And I really like that last chunk where he was talking about God, which I found really interesting considering the things he talks about in his normal music. But he did it in a way that didn't come across as like preachy or cringe or anything like that. So I really appreciate that. Had loads of video game references. Really like that Houston Rocket line, because you don't really see too many rappers have baseball bars. You know, it's always basketball. You don't see too many have bars about baseball. So I found that pretty interesting. And yeah, really tight flow. He really came with some energy, and you could tell he was just going in on this. He seemed to be one of the few freshmen that really came and put their all into their freestyle. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up this video. Not sure if I'm gonna do a ranking or reaction to the ciphers or not. It just depends on what goes on and how I feel about it. But I definitely do have another video about Double XL I plan on making, as well as my 2023 Double XL freshman class. So if you like the videos I've been doing on Double XL, make sure you stay tuned for all of that. And yeah, peace.